Boom, 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 boom. I can't even do the soundtrack right. It's like so unique. Tron Ares, the third in the Tron movie series. First being the original Tron back in the 80s, then Tron Legacy back in 2000 and when was the first Tron or a Tron Legacy? That's a good question. I want to say that was the early 2010s. 2010 exactly. 2010 exactly. Okay. So now we have over 15 years later, Tron Ares. So is Tron even relevant anymore? Is it dead? Is there still life in this franchise? At $180 million, this film would most likely have to make, even being nice, it's a good question what we think the marketing on this is, because I'm going to guess probably about 100 million. You're looking at film's going to have to hit about 450 to break even. Do I think this film is going to do that? Well, it's obviously going to depend on what the box office opening is. But do I think enough people are going to go see this movie to have the experience of it? And based on seeing it, I think there is hope. The movie is just over positive for the critics, but it's actually got a pretty solid 86% on Rotten Tomatoes for the verified people who saw it. The unfortunate thing about this movie, though, is it's, to me, very similar to an Avatar. Any one of the Avatar movies. And as I've said before, I like the Avatar movies fine. I think Way of Water is, in fact, a better movie better just structured movie than the original one. The original one really, it does feel like if you see it the one time, it's really good. But when you see it the second time, you're like, okay, can we get to this part? Can we get to the big climax now? Yeah, and at 3 hours, that's rough. So they're decent movies, but they're amazing spectacles to watch on the big screen. And this is the same type of movie. Is it a amazing, fantastic, greatest movie in the world type movie? No. Is it a bad movie? No. Is it a good movie? I will go so far as to say it is a good movie. I've heard some people say it's okay. I'll go so it's above okay, I think. It is a legit good movie. Is it a great film, like one of the best of the year? No. But man, I didn't realize when I was just scheduling a time me and my girlfriend to be able to make the movie. So I got the 10 o'clock show. Well, what I didn't realize and I forgot was it was a XD, because I have a Cinemark, XD 3D movie. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, well, honey, I'm paying for it. So, okay. So we sit down and we get the opening, whatever, like going through cyberspace. And then we get the actual title sequence. And it's like a boom drop. And then the Nine Inch Nails music kicks in. And we're like, holy shit. And throughout the movie, it was a visual feast for the eyes. It was gorgeous to look at. The 3D light cycle effects, the light weapon effects, the colors. There's just even a minor scene with fireflies that looks really good because of the 3D. I've noticed that with like small moving lights, 3D really captures that effectively. It's just a gorgeous looking film. The action is really good too. Like there's some great choreography in it. The visuals are stunning. Where it kind of loses itself, though, and I'll get back to some more positives in a second, but where it kind of loses itself, though, is except for Ares himself, uh, Jared Leto, you don't care much about a lot of these people. Like, I don't care that much about Eve, our main female protagonist. I definitely, like, don't get me wrong, he was fun to hate, but man, Evan Peters is Julian Digger, who's kind of your bad guy, sort of. I leaned over to my girlfriend and went, we just finished watching Alien Earth, and she immediately goes, this guy's reminding me a lot like a less effective version of Boyd Cavalier. and when I thought about it, like, this is actually, there's a lot of parallels to Alien Earth in this. You got the billionaire, whatever it is, the rich genius who's an asshole. Who's an asshole who's got this idea for advanced AI and all that, and he can't ultimately control it. So I'm like, wow, that's on the nose. I like Jodie Smith-Turner as like Athena, who's like the antagonistic AI, because she doesn't start that way. I like the fact it's Ares and Athena, and I like that too. there's there's a brief cameo by Cameron Monaghan here too. I'm like, oh, he's in there. Not much reason for him to be here, but he's here. Probably got a decent little paycheck and say, I'm in Tron. But yeah, like I don't care about the loss that Greta Lee's character is feeling that much. It's it's enough of an emotional issue for her um that she can still bond and connect with Jared Leto's character. And look, and by the way, if you've seen the trailers, which look, anything I ever say is only within the trailers. But if you haven't watched the trailer, then well, sorry, that's not my fault. Yeah, you've seen that Jeff Bridges is in the movie. He's not in a lot, but it's a very important and pivotal role, and it's a good scene too. It's a good scene. But obviously, Jared Leto's kind of our real lead, more or less, and I've never been on the Jared Leto hate train. I've never loved him either, though. Like he's a very odd actor, to say the least. For example, I like, surprisingly, he's not bad in Morbius. But no one's really great in Morbius except for me, him and Matt Smith, really. But beyond that, trying to think, trying to formulate words. Like other movie films I've seen him in, his Joker is whatever, it is what it is. But then there's like the Dallas Buyers Club where he got his award nomination. And then you get something like Blade Runner 2049. I'm not gonna lie, I do not like that movie. There's aspects of it I like, there's scenes I like, but I do not like them. And Jared Leto is like, it's almost like how did I put it when I saw the movie initially? It's almost like he was Christopher Walkening it a little bit. So yeah, or Christopher Walken, or was it Elmer Fudding? I can't remember how I described it when I first saw the movie. I'd have to go back and watch my review for it. But he's basically being an AI program who initially doesn't have emotions, but obviously being a artificial life and growing and evolving, we see more and more personality with him as the movie goes on, and he actually grows to be a more and more likable person and character that we do root for. So I actually do appreciate that. But honestly, when we watch a Tron movie, we're not really gonna be there for like the in-depth story of it or the pathos of the acting or anything like that. We're there more for the spectacle. Obviously, we need some story. We need some characters. We need characters to follow and at least like enough to enjoy. But we're not going to be, but we're not going to be disappointed if like some characters don't quite live up to our standards. If they're doing what they need to do, they'll do what they need to do. But when you combine that with fantastic visual effects, like top-notch special effects, good action sequences, a fantastic kick-ass score with a lead that you like, then you do create a movie that is still a really enjoyable experience. And again, it's an experience to say the least. Beyond that, though, I'll also say that despite the fact that it's a story that maybe isn't, what's the best way to put it? That's not maybe the most thought out. There are good ideas in the movie. Like when they bring things into the real world, they're literally 3D printing them. That's a fun concept. It's like actually reverse. It's like the reverse effect of how they get sent into the grid. Really. So that is actually a fun concept I liked. The designs of these of like the tech in the grid are really cool and how they function. I'll say this too, because you see this in the trailer where like the military tries to take on these machines, and they're not doing great. But when I say they're not doing great, it's actually not the fact that they're like straight out losing. I like the fact that despite the fact this is dangerous new technology, that is something that's kind of beyond our technology in the real world. It's not a complete stomp in like the AI's favor, in the grid's favor. No, humanity could still actually put up a fight and still actually probably, like, if worst case scenario happened, like we went to war with the grid, the only reason the grid would win is because they could keep coming back. And if that's the case, then you just destroy the thing that keeps letting them come back. That's all you got to do. And there's only a couple of those things that exist in this world, and they only got 29 minutes. That's the other thing. The whole base plot is there's this code called a permanence code, which will allow them to exist in the real world indefinitely. But until then, they're stuck on a 29-minute like lifespan. So yeah, honestly, a war between their world and our world actually wouldn't go well in their favor. They would initially kind of be a very dangerous force, but the fact that they have a severe time limit and the fact that they can still be brought down by your attack just with some difficulty means that they probably wouldn't win an outright fight. But as a unknown force that we had never seen before, they cause some havoc and trouble. And like I said, the design work is fantastic. Some of these things are really there, like the light cycles. As far as I can tell, that's a real motorcycle they designed. Those light cycles are like legit. So it's really cool, that chase sequence. Absolutely. So yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Is it perfect? Wow, I got this weird hair thing going on right now. Is it perfect? Hell no. Was it a good time? Yeah, it was a good time. I recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the original movies or the last two movies. Now that being said, like I said, do I think this movie can make its money back? And right now, until I see what the opening weekend's going to be, I'm going to give a tentative yes. I think it could make its money back. I don't know if it's going to make a butt ton of money. I don't know if it's going to be it's definitely not going to be $1 billion film. But again, on a $180 million budget, let's just assume $100 million in marketing, which I think is a fair assessment based on how much marketing I've seen, plus any extra that's been going on. Like I said, you're going to have to hit about, I mean, it's not actually 450, but it's like more like 420. But yeah, if the movie makes like 450, it pretty much not only breaks even, it makes some money. It makes its money back. It makes a little bit extra. Reasonably, I'd say the ceiling for this movie right now, seeing as the other Tron movies never did anywhere near as well as where I'm about to, like, honestly, none of the Tron movies even made 400 million. So I'm not saying it's impossible because it's a different day and age, different time. Maybe it's going to resonate a lot better. I will say, though, that I will say 600 might be the ceiling, and I'm probably being generous there, but it doesn't necessarily need to do that. If it can hit the 450 range, it will be fine. And we could still get more sequels later on, and they can improve upon some of the things that, people who didn't like the movie argued with, and people who even liked the movie argued with. So anyway, I digress. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty solid. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.